Hi guys, welcome back to Glittery Crystals. I am excited for this video. We will be doing an LV rhinestone mug. So let's get to it. These are the supplies that we will be using to glitter our mug. As you can see here, I have not prepped my mug. I just grabbed it, took it out of the box, and that's it. No sanding, no nothing. So I am going to be using the spray paint method to glitter my mug. What does that mean? I grabbed my mug, I applied a good coverage of that dark chocolate spray paint to my mug, and right after I have spray painted my mug, I went over with my glitter to cover the entire mug. By doing this method, you avoid using any epoxy, any Mod Podge, anything. So this is a great quick way to glitter your entire mug. I highly suggest you try it out because it's very convenient. And this was the first time that I was gonna glitter a mug using the spray paint, and it worked wonderfully. Wonderful? Okay. Okay. Look at the shine. Look at that beautiful sparkle. That s'mores glitter. I love, 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 love the sparkle it gives. So once we have glitter our cup, we will let it fully dry. Before you seal it, you have to let that spray paint fully dry. So about 30 minutes, you let your cup sit there, then you go back and you seal it. After you have sealed it, you can epoxy right over it. As you can see here on my left, I epoxied my cup. Now I am going to clean the rim by removing any extra epoxy, and I will also sand my mug. And on your right, you will see that I'm actually weeding the vinyl. This vinyl, it's so beautiful. I love the texture. I have used it a few times on a few cups. Um, but I don't like this vinyl. It's a love-hate relationship. It's beautiful and everything, but none of the transfer papers or transfer tapes that I have lift any of that vinyl. I struggled so much with weeding and with also trying to transfer the vinyl to the mug. When I weed it or when I cut this image, I actually cut it twice. I sent it to cut, and instead of me unloading the mat, I cut it a second time because I wanted to make sure that it actually cut through this thick vinyl. But as you can see here, I am struggling. I am struggling so much with transferring the vinyl. I have my cup ready to go on the right side. As you can see here, it's already been cleaned from the rim. It's already been sanded, and disclaimer, I have used alcohol to wipe down that sanding dust that was left behind. So since it did take me a while to come up with an idea or a way to basically get that vinyl out of its backing, I am doing the reverse. Instead of me lifting the vinyl, I am trying to remove the backing from the vinyl. You are seeing this in 8 times speed. It was still a headache for me to remove it. But it's such a beautiful vinyl that I was willing to go through that hassle and through that pain. So that's what I ended up doing. It took me about an hour to weed all of those small pieces and to be able to lift it from that backing. So it did take a while. So now here you will see me that I am trying to position and apply my vinyl in a straight line. It's a challenging situation because since this mug is not straight, it has some curves and it's not as straight as possible. So that was another challenge by itself. And I wasn't sure how I was going to lay lay this vinyl correctly. So I decided to go and apply the vinyl in sections. So instead of me trying to wrap the entire mug, I was applying lines of that vinyl design, if you will. It wasn't perfect. Now, me looking back, I wasn't placing the vinyl where it should have been, but I tried my best. And after I was done covering the mug, I was so happy the way it looked. It looked beautiful. So after I was done placing the entire design, I went back and I removed the vinyl that was not placed properly and I fixed it. So I removed the pieces that were not in the right position and I grabbed another one and placed it where it should have been. So I'm in love with this mug, even if it was one of the hardest or one of the challenge projects that I've done. I still loved it and I would still recreate it for myself. Not so much to sell, because especially this vinyl, is very complicated. If I could do just a regular gold vinyl that it's not the Cricut brand, then I would for sure redo this mug several times. But not this one. This one is just very tedious and very hard for me. It was very challenging for me. It might not be for you, but I'm just letting you know my experience with this vinyl. I love it, but it's challenging. So now that we have placed the vinyl and we are very satisfied with the way it looked, you can see here that I am placing not placing that I am epoxying my mug and it's all coming together. Look at it. I love whenever I apply my epoxy because the shine and the sparkle and the beauty of the glitter actually comes back to life. Now that our epoxy has fully cured, I have sanded my cup. I'm making sure that there's no bumps at all. It has to be 100% smooth, but make sure that you don't sand through the epoxy all the way to the vinyl. So now I will be using some clear rhinestones, and in order for those rhinestones to show through that dark base color, I am using white vinyl. Um, and as you can see here, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to place this vinyl because it's a curve where I'm placing my vinyl. But I tried this and it all worked perfectly. So I am placing my vinyl, but mostly I am placing where I want my drips to be. Um, I'm not so focused on the wrinkles or if the top part is not as smooth and perfect. After I have placed my drips, I am going back and I am cutting some slits with my X-Acto knife just so the vinyl can lay flat. There's still going to be creases and bumps on the vinyl, but we will take care of that next. After we have covered the rim with the vinyl, I am going back with my sanding block and I am lightly sanding those bumps and that texture that was left behind. This was perfect to sand down that bump and you won't be able to see it once you place your rhinestone. So that's a win-win. I wasn't so much focused on how the rim was going to look. I just wanted to make sure that the drips were going to be placed properly on the cup. But yes, after we have sanded, make sure that you clean the cup very well with rubbing alcohol and that none of that dust is left behind. And now we will apply one last coat of epoxy. You have to make sure that before you apply this last coat of epoxy, your cup is very, very smooth. There's no bumps, because whatever bumps there is, that's gonna be that. Like, you won't be able to remove that. So make sure that your cup is fully smooth. I did apply a thick coat of my epoxy, and the method that I will be using to place my rhinestones is I will let my epoxy cure for about 8 hours, right? It varies wherever you are. It was very cold. This time around when I did this mug, it was very cold. So it took longer for my epoxy to cure. So the timing will vary depending the weather where you're at. You can see here that my epoxy has cured enough for me to stop my cup. Yet, if you touch the mug, as you can see here, the epoxy will still, you can't touch it because you will ruin the epoxy, as I just did this with the handle. So in order for me to fix it, I went back with my torch. I heated up the area, and it took care of the problem. So I am using these clear crystal AB rhinestones, glass rhinestones. They are beautiful. I will leave the link down below so you can purchase your own. And I am just stopping the turner for a few seconds. I wasn't sure. This was the first time I tried this method. I wasn't sure if it was gonna work. I have never done this. I have not seen anyone do this. I wasn't sure if it was gonna work. I wasn't sure if my epoxy was fully cured enough to where I could stop my turner and it wouldn't run. So it was just a matter of me testing the waters. So as you can see here, I stopped my turner for 2-3 seconds. I placed my rhinestone and I let it spin again. The only downside with this method is you have a few minutes to be able to complete the drip, because it will start curing very quickly. And also, if you misplace a rhinestone, you cannot remove it and apply another one. So you have to be very precise wherever you place your rhinestones. Overall, I love this method because once the epoxy cured, my cup was ready. There was nothing to be done with this cup because it was already ready. You can see here that my epoxy is curing very quickly. So I need to be faster when placing my rhinestones, and I actually need to add a little bit more force when placing it. I was just rushing. I wasn't sure if I was going to complete it, but I want to say it took me about 15 minutes for me to finish this rim, and I actually finished on time. I loved this method, and I hope you like it too. Give it a try. I liked it. I very much liked it. Well, guys, this is the final result. I have been waiting so long to show you this mug. I'm in love with the mug. I'm in love with all of the cups that I make. But this cup, I love it so much. I am a sparkly girl, so I love all the sparkle. And I feel so bougie drinking from this mug. I just feel, no one can defeat me if I'm drinking from this mug. And it's a perfect way to start all my mornings. I hope you love this mug. I hope you love the design, and I hope you recreate it. Thank you so much for being here with me, for sharing this time with me, for subscribing, giving me those likes, and for sharing my videos. Thank you all so much for all the love and support, and we will see you on our next video. Bye, guys.